welcome back to the Pretty Little Podcast. We are your hosts.
My name is Phoebe.
And my name is Caroline, and today we are recapping Season 7, Episode 3 of Pretty Little Liars called The Talented Mr. Rollins. Yeah, more talents than we realized, huh? Didn't know he was such a craftsman.
Yikes. I am still like, how do you do it? You can tell me that he had the recipe for latex all you want.
Yeah. That doesn't explain the perfect hair follicle placement of Detective Wilden's eyebrows, okay? So talk to me about how we got the perfect pore shape, and then I will believe that you're the talented Mr. Rollins, okay?
Right.
I know, I didn't realize that he had taken courses on mask creating at Hollis University.
I thought he just ordered them.
Yeah, me too. Although, imagine if there was an online marketplace where you could get an extremely lifelike mask of anybody in the world. But there's only one. There's only one available. I know you mean the mask maker, but I'm just saying, imagine if this was a reality where there was an online marketplace where every single person in the world, once they reach their full maturity, well, obviously there's only one in the world. I'm just saying, in the world of Pretty Little Liars, that would have been helpful. If they had that, then we would just be like, well, that's where they got it. You know what I mean? We'd be like, where did they get? Oh, the online marketplace where everybody has one flesh mask that matches them perfectly.
We had to have a scene of Spencer where she has all these 9x11 printed out pictures of the pictures Aria took, so that she can look at this list instead of just zooming in on her phone.
I love the moment, and we'll get there, but it's later on. But they're all looking at stuff on Spencer's computer, and Aria goes, "Wait, go back to the photos I took." And I'm why do I feel like she's like, God, I have a good eye, don't I?
Well, it's because I also I forgot she was talking about the pictures she took in the De Laurentiis house. So because they were looking at pictures of Allie and Elliot, and I was like, is she gonna ask to see the pictures she took of them at their wedding?
At the wedding? She's like, God.
Wait, show me the pictures I took. They look in love, don't they?
Yes, they look in love. Everyone's blaming me. Literally, everyone is blaming me for this.
Aria wants that.
I know.
Aria's reality right now is that everybody is like, Aria, I can't believe you would marry them. No one said that.
No one she keeps bringing it up. She's like, and you don't have to say it, okay? I'm beating myself up enough as it is.
And I also love, last episode we were talking about how Aria would feel about Hanna having been kidnapped after Aria experienced a burn, and
we pretty much get it.
We pretty much were on the money.
She gives it to us straight in this episode. Okay, so I'm going to do the recap. So if you'll remember, Hanna was fully locked up and tormented alone, and Aria just can't stop saying shit like, hey, I was in the dollhouse too. I know exactly what you went through. And it's like, hey, no, you don't. No, you don't. Hope this helps. So Sabrina and Emily are flirting again, and Emily's going to try to make moves there. Ezra and Aria are back on. Lily is out. Lily is OUT. He's out of style, okay? And he's also working on their book, and it's going to be an issue, okay? I'm just calling it now. It's going to be an issue. All right. Rollins, Allie's husband and caretaker and doctor, which Spencer so aptly pointed out, doesn't really sit right with us. Rollins is in disagreement with Mary Drake at Welby over the treatment of Allison, which makes us wonder, oh my God, if Mary Drake is bad and she's not cool with what Rollins is doing, how bad could it get? Okay, Toby and Yvonne are having trouble because of Spencer Hastings. Saw that coming. Mary Drake is the one who actually ended up kind of saving Spencer. Hanna picked her up in the middle of the woods, and then Hanna just kind of gave her the bratty teenager act the whole way home, and Mary was like, get out of my car. Mary was like, I had plans to torture you some more, but honestly, I can't stand being around you. You're triggering me. Caleb and Hanna kind of rekindled before Hanna got kidnapped, and then they discussed what happened after the fact, and they just kind of came to the conclusion that Hanna was scared. He was there. It was a comfort thing, and that's all that it was, and Spencer's fully crashing out over it. And also Hanna broke off her engagement, so that's a whole other thing. And Aria and Ezra did sneak into Elliot's way back when, or sorry, you know what? How dare I? The De Laurentiis dungeon that Elliot happens to be squatting in. They snuck in and they saw that he had a hidden key and a light on a wall that was going to open this trunk full of mysterious gadgets. So it's important to know for this episode. Okay, and that's it. wow, I am putting Phoebe to sleep. Phoebe just had the biggest yawn I've ever seen on camera. Ugh. It's going to take me a while to get over this. It's going to take me a while to feel.
Me too.
How dare you?
We start in Lucas's loft, and Hanna is putting on a fake ring, and Aria comes into like the room Hanna's in and sees the atrocious scars on Hanna's back.
Not even scars. They're not even healed yet, which is like a reminder too of how recent this was. And I'm also kind of like, has Hanna even seen them? Because they're on her back. Like,
she might just think she's sore or something.
Yeah. And so Aria sees them. You know, Aria's like, God damn it. You have burns too? God, can I have anything that's just mine?
Literally.
So they had a late laugh there. Are you okay? Yeah, Aria does seem actually concerned, though, with what she's seeing on Hanna's back. And that is the normal response, so thank God. Spencer's currently
uninterested in talking about it, though. Hanna's like, Aria, shut the fuck up.
Literally.
Hanna's had it up to here with this girl.
You know, she is like, I don't know why she keeps offering to like be alone in a car with Aria. It's literally like she keeps choosing the lesser of two evils. It's like which is worse, Spencer or Aria? Oh my God, I'd rather just jump off a bridge, but I guess I'll go in the car. She's like a higher likelihood of that happening if I'm in the car.
She's like, should I have just stayed in that fucking barn? Should I have just run a little farther in the wilderness?
Like, should I just have climbed a tree and made camp up there and lived among the birds and squirrels? Maybe.
Yeah,
Hanna,
it's better than Aria.
Honestly, yeah. So Spencer's pissed at Emily because Emily did what she was told explicitly not to do. And hey, guys, this isn't going to stop here.
I think Spencer has two lines that are literally identical where she goes, I told you not to do that.
And Emily's like, well, but Allie, like she just is like, sorry, that sign can't stop me because I can't read.
Emily is so fucking funny. Like, because it's literally like, I told you not to ask Mary Drake for help.
Yeah.
And Emily says,
she's like, well,
and I told you I was going to.
Yeah. And she's like, okay, so we both were clear communicators here. Yeah. Okay. It sounds like we both made ourselves very clear. Yeah. And they're talking about how, like, obviously we now know that Rollins and Mary Drake are familiar with each other. And Aria is still in her little world. She's just replaying the magical wedding night of Allie and Elliot in her head. And she's like, I just don't believe that he would want to hurt Allison. The love in his eyes, you girls didn't see it like I did. They didn't trust you to capture that special moment. But I captured it all right. Okay, let's look at the pictures I took.
The second anybody slanders this couple until later on in the episode, she literally takes it as a personal, like,
she was like, that was my first professional wedding shoot. She's like, my parents doesn't count, their family.
And also, like, how dare you? Me officiating their wedding didn't count either. This was like the first couple I really did.
Right, exactly.
And Spencer is like, I understand why Mary wants revenge against us and against Allie because of Charlotte, but they are having a tough time connecting Rollins to it, and I'm just like, I don't know if I need to make a connection. I think I've seen enough. Like, I think I'm at a point where I think they're connected.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just not that much of a reach to say, like, were they romantically involved? So
it's also like, you guys so clearly don't have all of the available information, so there's other like, you don't need to know what exactly is connecting them.
Yeah.
Yet.
So Hannah's like, well, I feel like Allie is scared of somebody else. And then they're like, but then if she was scared of someone else, she would call Elliot. Like, why isn't she calling Elliot? And they realize that everything that's going on with Allie, them not being allowed to see her, etc., this all happened right after Mary Drake got the jacket that linked Allie to Charlotte's death. And so they're like, well, then we couldn't visit it anymore. So what if he's punishing Allie? He doesn't want us to see what he's doing to her. And Emily was like, well, I did. And girl, she is strapped down. She is being tortured.
If it is Elliot, he's capable of much worse. So Hanna and Emily are going to go to Welby and tell someone what's happening, to which I say, guys, go to the police.
Yeah. I mean, literally.
Something tells me AD is a couple steps ahead of you.
Yes.
Going
I
and
just
realizing
don't
something's
think
wrong.
That going to, I mean, we've tried going to Welby. Have we not been going to Welby? Emily was there 24 hours ago.
And she's not very conspicuous at all. Or she's incredibly conspicuous. She's not inconspicuous.
Yes, exactly. So while they do that,
and Spencer's gonna go talk to Toby to find some kind of connection between Mary Drake and Dr. Rollins. And so all the girls kind of start to head out.
And then they realize they don't hear the pitter-patter of Aria Montgomery behind them.
They notice they've left one behind, and Emily says, okay, what?
What are you doing?
Up?
And she's like, sorry. They're like, where did you go just now? She's like, it's a memory, maybe, but they were just so in love. She's just like sitting there on the couch. She's like, the photos I took, the way that I saw them, their love through my eyes, it was so beautiful. I never would have married someone if I didn't know it was true love, girls. Okay? She's like, I take my responsibility very seriously. Okay?
So then we go to Welby, and Dr. Rollins comes into Allie's room, and we realize
she's gone.
We're about to be reintroduced to Big Al.
I thought this was a dream sequence.
This is Big Al.
This is Big Al. She said, "I forgot who the fuck I am," and she is back in action.
She's hiding behind the door. So when Elliot comes in, she's like, the door opens and she's behind it between the wall and the door. And then once the door closes, she lunges at him and jumps on his back and starts choking him out with the cords of her IV.
Yep, exactly. Tubes, I believe they're called. And Whatever. This is just quite a commotion, you guys. Like, I'm like, no one heard or saw anything. There is a huge window in this room. Like,
no, all the nurses were just like, and that's just Elliot.
They're like, well, they're married. They're married. Okay, we're letting them have some private time. I don't know what they do. Okay, whatever. Literally, like, it's crazy.
He likes to get thrown around,
and it goes on for so long. Like,
too long.
It goes on for way, way too long. And so eventually he just pulls out the tranquilizer, of course, and injects her, and then she can't fight back anymore.
It goes on too long, especially because, I don't believe Allie just immediately... I mean, I guess we do know her to have hulked out because of the phone. However, I do think that, like, Elliot would be able to, like, subdue this.
Well, what we find out later, though, about some of the substances that he's using...
I guess it's a stimulant, yeah.
I'm like... But I'm also like, why are we even, like, leaving her alone with the stimulant in her? Like, if you're giving her that much of it, and she's...
How the fuck did she get out of the shackles?
Yeah, that's what... Like, I'm like, well, don't leave her alone. If the stimulant is literally... If you're loading her up so much that she's going to have the superhuman strength to release herself and, like, come up with this and like, fight you like this when she's been... drugged and like she's probably malnourished, she's so tired, like all these things, the fact that she had the strength to fight for as long as you guys just fought makes me think she's on a lethal dose of stimulants. And like, so why are we leaving her alone? If I'm the bad guy, obviously I'm like, leave her alone, but like,
right. Then he puts her in the most terrifying contraption I've ever
Holy
seen. It's
shit.
giving Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
It's giving Silence of the Lambs, a leather muzzle.
He literally straps her down and puts it around her head, a muzzle over her mouth. Like, it's so dark.
We go to the brew. Emily got this scene's also fucking hysterical. Emily got a bartending job at the Radley and needs to start today. And Aria goes, well, at first Emily's like, maybe I'll just tell your mom that, like, I can't work today. We have to do this. And Aria goes, you have to pay for Hollis. Allie will understand.
She goes, I really understand. I really value education. Okay. And I just hate to think of you like mooching and not paying for your classes at Hollis. So you need this job. Okay. Okay. You need this job.
We find out that Ezra's out of town and she's not going to tell him about everything about Elliot. And then Emily sees Sabrina and is like, hey guys, I'm going to go talk to her. And Aria, I sent Caroline a video of Aria's reaction to Emily walking away from them to go talk to Sabrina. And she's literally like, oh. We literally just had a conversation about how Sabrina came on to me. She
literally looks and she's like, okay. Like, she's just like, I'm not ignoring that. And then later when it's over, she's like, what was that about? Why did you talk to her? But also I'm like, hey, Em, like, this isn't really in alignment with the way we're acting about Big Al. Like, what are we doing?
She's really trying to convince herself that she's acting out of friendship, not love.
I guess, but I'm like, do you think Big Al's gonna like this? I don't think so. I don't think Big Al's gonna be too happy. Yeah,
she's capable of something.
Big Al's she's gonna be in a bit of a mood, in one of her moods when she gets out of Welby. I'm just guessing she's gonna be in a little bit of a perturbed mood. Yeah.
Hannah's in her own world as the line like starts to move, and Aria looks back at Hanna for like a full 3 beats and goes, Han?
Okay, she says, "Are you okay, Phoebe?"
no, she says that after.
Okay,
once
after
Hanna
she
moves
says
up in the
Han.
line.
Yeah,
No,
and then she
no.
says, "Okay, whatever. Okay, I'll give it to you."
Don't give her credit.
She goes, "Are you okay?" And Hanna goes, "Please don't ask me that." And then Aria goes, "I don't want to push." And Hanna goes, "I appreciate that." Like, then fucking don't. And then Aria's like, "Okay, but we were all in the dollhouse. I know what you're going through." Oh my God.
And then Hanna pushes Aria to the ground.
And I was like,
says,
"Go, Hanna.
Go,
Hanna. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to see. That's what I would have done." I was like, how dare you?
Like, Aria,
First of
shut
all,
up.
imagine though, like, if you were in the dollhouse twice. Like, you were in the dollhouse, you have an idea of what it's like to be like kidnapped and held captive, I guess. But you don't know what it's like to have that happen to you twice. You don't know what it's like to be the tree trunk that lightning strikes twice.
And to also be the only one at the dollhouse.
Exactly.
They had each other. The punishments were being dispersed, and I know that I do agree that it was a little bit more posh living than what Hanna had. But I did remember when A locked them out in the fence.
Yeah, there was that. The chipping them was them waking up naked on sterile
Lots
beds.
of Aria, we're not discounting what happened to you.
No.
But Hanna was just in a barn with no insulation, being like soaked with water and then electrocuted over
literally. Like, it's not the same. And it's also just like, you don't actually know. Hanna hasn't shared with you what she went through. So don't even try saying that. Like, for all you know, like, it was much darker than like Hannah's even, you know. So
Hannah's going to wait outside.
Yes. And so Emily is fully asking Sabrina out on a date.
This is the most painful thing I've ever watched.
So painful. What does she say? She says something like she thanks Sabrina for something, and Sabrina goes,
"I wanted
it's not
to thank
necessary."
you for the other night.
Oh yeah. She goes, "Do you want to go to dinner to like so I can thank you?" And Sabrina says, "It's not necessary. I would have done it for anyone." I'm out of there. I am outie.
I'm walking into traffic.
I'm not only out of there, I am in traffic. I am not sticking around for this. Oh my God, that's mortifying, Shay.
But Emily,
Shay read that and was like, "Well, this would never happen," but okay, I'll go along with it.
Emily goes, "Oh well, like okay, it would be a date," and Sabrina's like, "Okay, even worse, not interested."
I'm not into thieves. I'm not into thieves and liars. What about me makes you think that?
And if I'm Emily, because Emily's already like running red hot from just life right now.
Yes.
If I find out that's why I'm getting rejected, I'm not speaking to Aria for 2 business days.
I low-key couldn't believe that's what Sabrina said, though. Sabrina's like, honestly, the whole mess with Ezra's key, it just left a bad taste in my mouth, so I can't go out with you. And then Emily goes, "I still feel terrible about that." And Sabrina says, "Me too." Oh my God, okay, you're not the hall monitor.
You're not the police.
You're not the
Arrest
police.
her if you want. If you want
Arrest her if you want. Ezra doesn't care. Haven't you seen her and Ezra like being chummy? Like, we're good.
Also, I'm like, okay, if you had such a problem with this, I don't know. I know you said you would do it for anybody, but like, if I think someone's a thief and a liar, I'm not gonna like make them a cappuccino and close the business down early to talk
and like
to you
be
all
this
night.
like exactly. And like, I don't know. I just think maybe there are some details about this, Sabrina, that you don't understand. And like, that's for sure. But I would start thinking that if I'm Sabrina and I'm seeing like, okay, well, Aria's obviously like dating him again, and the girls are always over here and they're always together. So maybe like, things obviously seem fine. So there was no fallout, but also maybe there are some things here that I just like don't know about because I'm not in their inner circle. And look, Emily's literally extending a hand. She's inviting you in.
So Emily goes up to Aria and Aria goes, "What was that about?"
She might as well say, "What did that bitch say to you?" What did that bitch just say to you? I mean, I like.
I have a problem with her. I've never liked her.
Honestly, I told Z, I can't put my finger on it, but there's something about her. I feel like, okay, I'll say it. I feel like she kind of smells like weed. And Ezra was like, "Okay, well, Aria, you also smell like weed." And she's like, "It's different. It's different. I'm not on the job. He's like, you're writing. Isn't that the job?" She goes, "Oh my God. Okay, whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? What, did you have a fling with her too? Yeah, she looks young." Aria just like fully goes for the jugular.
So Aria asks what that was about, and
Aria's like, "I didn't want to tell you this, but Sabrina literally, we were testing her.
Me.
We were testing. No. But yeah, we were testing her. Okay, we were testing her. We wanted to see if she would look the other way and we could steal your key out of the lockbox and break into your apartment before we were in a good place. And Z, she let it happen. Okay. And I got up there and I broke down into tears. I was like, what kind of people are working here? Like, I need to be back here and protecting Z from this. Oh my God. I was overcome with grief for you. So I took a shower in your house, put on your clothes, left. And when I came down, it looked like she was coming on to Emily, which I thought was weird because, okay, she also came on to me right before I went upstairs. And I was like, don't follow me up here. Maybe that's why she let me have the key. She thought we were going to go have a rendezvous. Boy, was she wrong.
And it's just like girls that normally go for me wouldn't really be interested in Emily.
It's like Emily and I aren't really like the same type. We're just like not like, I don't know, like if you like me, like I don't know what you'd see in Emily as much. The conversation's much different. It's much different. Like if you like a layered sort of like intellectual conversation, Emily just kind of talks about drink recipes.
And I didn't want to say anything about it, but it's like, can we really talk about anything else?
Can we talk about something else?
Like, you know,
she drinks like a fish, and she's all. I mean, she always has. You know that, Z. I used to talk to you about how I was just like, I wish the girls had a more mature palate, like I do. Like, you and I can just like have a few glasses of wine, and like it's not a big deal. Like she's drinking to get drunk, and like she doesn't even like know what good wine is. And
she literally she blacked out so much one night that she literally robbed Allie's grave.
Yeah, no, do you remember this? We covered for her. She dug up Allie's grave. It was that we were like, okay, and she also got in the car with Jenna, who you know is blind. And it's like, well, that's not safe. It's like, okay, honestly, that's how drunk Emily was. It was like safer to have Jenna, who's blind, drive Emily than it was to have Emily drive home. Yeah, okay.
So it's just like, I just don't really see what Sabrina would see in her. And like
so the point is, I don't trust Sabrina, and her being interested in Emily is honestly even more of a red flag. And scene. And none of that happened. And also, we love Emily, so that was all Aria talking. That was all Aria talking. That is not how we feel. Guys, you know that's not how we feel about Emily. Okay.
We love her. She's always a strong number 2.
She's
not as strong as a number 1 as Hanna is.
No.
Caroline just coughed, but I need you guys to understand. Bless you. I need you to understand that when she did initially start to cough, she put her hands up in the air and did like a little wiggle.
Like I just didn't care.
Yeah, right. So like we go to Welby, and oh wait, sorry.
No, we go to Toby's trailer, and Spencer knocks, and Yvonne answers the door. Not too thrilled to see Spencer. Toby's working on the house. Hey, I didn't at first realize the house is like a stone's throw away from this trailer. So when Yvonne's like, yeah, Toby's not here. He's at the house. It's like, so you mean he's right there? You mean he can probably smell Spencer's hairspray?
I am a little bit like, Spencer, you knew there was a chance Yvonne would be here. So you couldn't have showed up with a bottle of wine or like a plant or something to like... offset the fact that you're here.
Hey, Fee,
asking for this.
I'm just gonna throw. I do think if Spencer had shown up with a bottle of wine and been like, "Oh, Yvonne," that wouldn't look too good.
I know, but there was.
I was just bringing this bottle of wine for me and Tobes.
That's not what I meant. But what does kill me is Spencer gets out of the car and she gets the Radley file out from her bag before she goes up there. And guys, this isn't something? Like. This is what.
That thing should be in a Ziploc bag.
I agree. There's asbestos and lead on there for sure.
There is stuff on it, and also it is just falling apart. Like, what are we doing? I'm shocked that when it saw sunlight, it didn't disintegrate. Like, just put it in a fucking plastic bag.
And don't be carrying it around like this, Spencer.
And don't be
in front of
carrying it around all willy-nilly. Yeah, Emily, it looks like you're cosplaying Nicolas Cage in National Treasure. Like, people are gonna be like, "Oh, great, Spencer's being fucking crazy again."
Yvonne knows that's like your whole thing. I'm sure. Toby's told her.
Oh yeah.
Yvonne's like, "You've already caused problems, so like, what do you want?" what do you want here? And we find out that they're engaged and family's coming over tonight. And so Spencer is like, you know what? Never mind. I'm going to be his ex-girlfriend.
It was so funny, though, because Spencer's like, I'll come back later. And Yvonne's like, well, tonight isn't good. Like, if you just can tell me what's going on, like, I won't be weird about it. And Spencer's like, yeah, it's private. And Yvonne's like, great. Then so is this property that you're on. Get the fuck off. But Yvonne is like, sorry, we have family coming over to celebrate, and the camera pans down. I thought it was gonna be like she's pregnant. I was like, if this girl's pregnant,
we couldn't have had her
crazy.
Like holding a cup of coffee or something, like at like
it was
chest
like
level.
Like it goes all the way. I'm like, okay, a little much.
She
could have even like she could have been like, we're celebrating, and then sipped coffee. It would have looked a little bit bitchy, but like fine.
We go to Welby, and the head doctor is like, well, look, I didn't know that Allie's husband was Dr. Rollins and was treating her. I didn't know that. But I promise you, like, it's fine. And I'm just like, right. So now I know we're at a fake hospital. We're at a fake hospital.
I'm sorry. How did you not know that her husband was treating her? That's crazy. And he's like, look, I'll just make sure that Dr. Rollins keeps you guys up to date. And it's like, no, that's not what it is. And so Aria, this is actually a good moment for Aria. She stands and she says, we think he's abusing her, and if you don't go check on her right now, we will file a complaint against both of you. And he's like, me? For what? She's like, for having knowledge and neglecting to do anything about it. And then Emily stands and says, and that makes you liable. And then Hanna stands and says nothing. And it's such a just great moment. But she stares at him.
It was a funny thing where like you see, because they have Emily and Hanna sitting and Aria's like standing the whole time. And you really do see like how tiny
she's so
Aria is.
Yeah. So they all walk down the hall. Right. Not to compliment her. They all walk down the hall to Allie's room, and, well, she seems totally fine. So are we just keeping the muzzle on her, like, while you're here, Elliot? Like, it seemed, I'm confused.
And she doesn't even look sweaty. Like, we've seen this girl look rough. And
yeah. Elliot walks in after the girls, and he's like, well, she's had a few rough days, but, like, she's doing better. And he turns to the girls and smiles at them, and Emily's jaw drops. She goes, like when he smiles at her, she's like, ah! She's like, ah! Like, it looks like she is like about to yell.
Did they see that? No one makes any comments, but they do. I'm like, okay, why put the marks on his neck if like no one's gonna say anything?
I thought the same thing.
And like the doctor doesn't notice. The doctor
don't even mention it later. The girls don't even say later, like,
Elliot,
did you see those marks? Yeah, exactly. So Caleb is making a sandwich at the barn, and Spencer walks in, and she's on fire a little bit because Toby and Yvonne are engaged. So she's like, well, yeah, so Toby and Yvonne are engaged, so now we have to make this work.
she's like, it got me thinking about us.
Literally, she's like, knowing how happy they are made me think about us, and like, I've wanted this for a really, really long time. And he says he has too. And she's like, okay, but everything like changed when Hanna disappeared. And he's like, well, I promised that I would keep her safe. So I just like felt responsible. And she's like, okay, well, she's back now. So like what is up? And she just finally asks. And I'm like, oh my God.
And then, yeah. And Caleb, okay, how do you feel? I mean, I know that it was the right thing to be honest. But part of me is like, did you just create a problem on purpose a little bit, Caleb?
Why?
By telling her that they kissed.
I mean, well, the alternative is lying.
I know.
So, I mean, that's a problem.
I know.
He created the problem when he kissed someone while he had a girlfriend.
That's true.
So anyway, he's like, yeah, we kissed, and she's like, walks away. And I did think he should be taking this a little bit more seriously. I felt like he was like, yeah.
He thought that he was gonna say that, and she was gonna like be like, oh, okay.
I know.
Just a kiss.
She goes, I can handle the kiss. I was like, girl, we know. We know. She's like, but that's all it was. And she asks if he still has feelings for Hanna, and he doesn't answer. And then, Saved by the Bell, Jason calls, and it interrupts.
I know. Jason, no last name. You know, imagine the chills running down Aria's back when she hears
Spencer.
Jason. I know, but then they go. What? Sorry.
Do we need to record later?
No. I'm texting Dan. Okay, so we go to the loft, and Spencer tells the girls that Jason had no idea that Allie was at Welby, which I was like pretty convinced of beforehand, because I was like
he never would have been cool with this. Yeah. Ellie
and
never
also he's like
him.
So hard to get in touch with. Go ahead.
And Spencer is like, well, and so they're like, okay, what did Toby find out? She's like, oh, I didn't tell him to look into Elliot and Mary Drake. And I goes, why not? And Spencer's like, well, because he's engaged.
Part of me was like, Hanna, like, I know you don't know the conversation Spencer's coming from right now, but Hanna, you were the last one who I defend Hanna till I die, but you are the last one here that needs to be raising your voice at Spencer in this moment, because
I guess so, yeah.
You're lucky, and Spencer honestly shows a lot of patience in this episode.
I do feel like for Hanna, she's like not like, I don't think she's thinking about anything else. Like, it's sort of how she was post Dollhouse, where it's like she's just literally not thinking about anything except getting this over so that she can be safe.
It wasn't
so like, I don't even think it crosses her mind. Like,
I agree.
I don't even know if she I know she remembers it, but she's also like, we squashed it. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean more so in a way of like, as the viewer watching, you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Emily goes, that's not your call to make, Spencer. Oh, I've never heard Emily like put the name at the end there, and it was like a knife.
Emily's just so mad at everyone.
And Spencer just explodes. She's like, look, we are stuck here because Allie killed Charlotte. And Hannah's like, well, even if she did, she doesn't deserve to be tortured. And it's like, every time Hanna has lines like this, we can tell that she knows the level of torture that Elliot is capable of, and that like, it really doesn't matter what the crime is. There's nothing that warrants that sort of, torture. So you can just kind of like see that pain on her face. And Emily's like, look, I want Jason to pick her up. And Spencer's like, well, he's out of the country. He can't come back for a few days. And she brings up the trunk that's in Elliot's bedroom. And they're like, maybe, there's something there. And Emily's like, well, I still have a key to Allie's house. Oh, perfect. Oh, shocker. Of course you do. So she goes to get it. And then she sees the Radley records in Spencer's bag. Obviously knows she didn't take them to Toby. Emily is like, I'm taking matters into my own hands. She takes the Radley records out of Spencer's, puts them in hers. And then we overhear that Jason's in Ethiopia. So fucking random. And then Emily gives Aria the key and goes to work. It's kind of funny that Aria is the one who goes in the house. I know she like knows where it is, but
we're at the DeLaurentis dungeon.
Yeah. Spencer and Hanna are waiting outside.
And Spencer asks about Jordan and if everything is okay. And Hannah's not telling the girls about the fact that she and Jordan broke up. And then Spencer's like, so Caleb told me you're a slut. Caleb told me.
Spencer's like, Hanna, Caleb told me what happened. And Hanna literally is just like, Spencer, I'm so sorry. Like, she just fully owns it. There's no, like, if this were Aria, she'd be like, what? I mean, he kissed me. He obviously kissed me.
It would be a massive conversation.
It would be Hanna a huge, just like, Hanna, and she's just like, I'm so sorry, Spencer. Like, and Spencer's like, well, you really shouldn't have told me you were over him if you weren't. And Hannah's like,
the way Spencer said that, I was a little.
You really
was a little
shouldn't
much
have.
For me.
I know. I was like, okay, well, you really shouldn't have even asked.
Hannah's not here acting like it was like the kiss of a lifetime, and she like wants to get. She's like, sorry, it was a mistake.
And as far as you know, Spencer, Hanna is still engaged. She's still happily engaged.
Exactly. It's not about feelings at all for Caleb.
For you, that should be like a security thing where it's like, okay, well,
exactly.
As far as I know,
even though we know the truth, but Hanna plays into it, and she goes, I meant what I said. Caleb is my past, and Jordan is my future. So we go inside, and Aria finds a bunch of terrifying stuff under all these clothes in the trunk.
I just feel like she should really just take everything and run. I know he would like eventually know the things were gone, but like whatever.
But here's also my thought: is she takes so much time taking each thing
a picture
out
of the whole spread and zoom in later. I know,
and don't take it out of the fucking trunk. Like, she takes it all out in the trunk and then organizes it the way that it was in the trunk on the floor.
Fingerprints everywhere.
Pictures.
Like,
exactly. And so then outside, we see that Dr. Rollins is getting home. So Spencer texts Aria, and Aria is still inside taking forever, and texts in the slowest way possible, stall him. Yes. And then we go back outside, and they, oh my gosh, chic. The way these girls approached Dr. Rollins getting out of his car.
It was like giving like wow. Witch. Like, is there some movie or something where two witches like walk up? It was giving like they were almost like floating. Like it was like, how'd you know I'm here? It just was so good. They walk up and they're like, so, Allie called us and we want to know what's going on. And he's like, well, part of her illness is paranoia. And Hanna says it's not paranoia if it's real. And he says, and I'm like, I hope you guys are recording because he says, if you keep pushing, I promise it'll be detrimental to her health.
That's a threat.
And Hanna has a look on her face as though like, haha, just caught ya. Like, because that is sort of like a threatening line. Right.
And so inside, Aria starts cleaning and locking up. And then she takes these pictures of the papers on the dresser, which like I wouldn't have even thought of. And then they're like, you need to get out right now. And then she puts the key in a sconce.
She like secretly wants to be caught.
Yeah, literally.
She's like, it's just, I look, Hanna won't stop acting like she's gone through the hardest thing. Maybe if he finds me in the house, I'll know
have a physical altercation. And so Aria then, this was smart. I don't know how she did it.
I know.
Miss Nimble Thimble. Yeah. She comes out of the Hastings Castle gate instead of like anywhere else. And Elliot sees that. And then they leave.
Yes. So we're back at the castle now and looking at the pictures of Alia and Elliot. And they just realize like they don't know anything about this guy. That's when Aria says, go back to those photos I took. And she means the ones she took in their room, but it's just so funny. And the way she says, like, it's like adding the photos I took. It's just hilarious. So she wants to go back and look.
And it's just so her.
Yes. And they see that it's actually the papers that were on the dresser are a credit card statement. So they want to go check the B&B that they stayed at during their honeymoon because it's on there. And suddenly Aria wants to work hard. Like, she's like, let's go. It's an hour away. Let's drive up there. And the girls just like do not want to. And then Aria looks at Hanna and says, it's only a matter of time before he does what he did to you or worse. And the way she says or worse almost made it feel like, because I know it wasn't that bad, like it could be so much
it was a
worse.
crazy line read and it was a weird line.
And then Hannah's like, okay, I'll drive. And Aria's like, perfect, good. You know I get car sick when I drive.
So we go to Radley and it's Emily's first shift and she
get her out of there.
How crazy is the uniform? Ashley Marin, what are you doing?
She's being checked out by the other people working there.
It's like
protect
her
a
little much.
And she's calling Toby in between cutting limes when we see Sabrina. God, small freaking town. Am I right?
We couldn't have gone anywhere else, Sabrina.
I know.
Anyway, we go to the Amish country. No service. And thank goodness Lucas has a map, apparently.
Hilarious.
And then they kind of start talking about both of their ex-boyfriends without knowing that they're talking about their ex-boyfriends at first. Because Hannah's like, is Liam still in town? And Aria's like, no.
He's back in Boston. As if everything's fine. And then she's like, okay, fine, we broke up. And
I'm back with Ezra. And it's been so hard to keep this a secret again. You know how hard it was for me the first time?
Yeah.
But I had to.
And I was like, why did you break up? She's like, well, I was spending time with Ezra and I just missed him. And you know what? We're both lucky. I've got Ezra. You've got Jordan. I forgot his name for a second. But I'm also like, it's crazy that I've got Ezra. Like, she's just so moved on.
It's
like,
so Aria is such a like next shiny thing. Like, that's who she is.
She's that girl in high school who's like a serial monogamist, but in the way that she's like monogamy, like she's monogamous with somebody and then like they break up. There's like 1 week in between, and if they don't get back together, she is dating somebody else and they are serious. Like, and that's just like what happens the rest of her life until she finally gets married.
If she went back to Boston, I think she'd would
get back with Liam,
get coffee with Liam, and then
unless Liam was like, "Girl,
well, I do think that's probably pretty.
You know what I mean?" And she's like, "I'm not willing to hear that, so I'm just gonna stay here where I'm never too much for anybody." True. Okay, fine, I'll say it. I'm stressed all the time, and it's messing with my hormones. Between work, keeping up with the latest pop culture news, and everything else, I just feel so out of balance, and I know I'm not the only one. So I'm going to help you out. Happy Mammoth offers a free 2-minute quiz that can help you figure out what the heck is causing your hormonal symptoms. It couldn't be easier. And after the quiz, you'll get a personalized recommendation to help balance your hormones and start feeling better already. When I took the quiz, it suggested that I might be going through estrogen overload. And I can pretty much blame that for the way I've been feeling. One of the recommendations from the quiz was to take Hormone Harmony, which y'all know we love. And it has literally helped me so much, you guys. I'm less bloated, I'm less tired, and okay, fine, I'm less moody. Since since I started taking it, I've noticed such a difference. Taking care of your hormones isn't just about feeling good right now, it's about investing in your long-term health. When you take the hormone quiz, you'll learn more about your hormone balance, and you can make small but intentional changes to support your body. Whether it's with Hormone Harmony or another Happy Mammoth product, the quiz really helps guide you towards solutions that work specifically for you. So, ready to start feeling like yourself again? Head over to happymammoth.com and take their free 2-minute hormone quiz today to find the ultimate answer to your stubborn hormonal issues. And for a limited time, you can also get 15% off your entire first order with my code PrettyLittlePodcast at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code PrettyLittlePodcast for 15% off today.
And then Aria is again trying to figure out what happened to Hanna in the barn. So she's like, so are you gonna like tell Jordan what happened to you? You're like, not telling me, but like, would you like tell Jordan?
So who would you tell? Yeah, would you tell Jordan? And Hanna snaps her. She's like, you are not helping me. Stop.
But this last line of the scene is like,
it's a dagger. Do you have it written, or I had to if you
well,
don't.
she just says,
I have it written, so you don't need to paraphrase.
I only have the second half of it.
She says, I don't want to relive the hell, not with you, not with Jordan, not with anyone. If I do, I'll never stop crying.
Elliot, when I get my hands on you.
Better. Oh, when I get my hands on you. So Emily approaches Sabrina at their alley. And she's got a whiskey and soda. And Sabrina's like, how did you know what I ordered?
I'm like, Sabrina, what
are you for real?
Are you on?
Are you for real? She's like, okay, you're literally stalking me. What's in this?
Emily is like,
did you? Tell me. I'm giving you one chance. Tell me the truth, liar.
She gets out like one of those like testing sticks.
Yeah, she's like, good thing I always carry these with me. She goes, oh look, it's lit up like a Christmas tree, and then she looks and she's like, for alcohol. It says there's alcohol in my drink because it's like a drug test for like anything.
Emily, like, I don't know how Emily isn't like turned off yet.
I'm like, Emily, like, how are you not so embarrassed you have to actually leave the country? Like, this is, and also like, stop putting yourself in this situation.
The embarrassment to a certain extent, but also in this scene, I'm like, okay, she's also stupid. You're clearly in the uniform. And Emily, instead of being like, I work here, she goes, yes, uniform didn't tip you off.
And she's like, look at my boobs. Does this tip you off at all? Look at the suspenders that don't fit over my
super
boobs.
Cool suspenders, and then she like snaps them over her shoulder.
Exactly. She's like, youch. So anyway, she starts to leave and comes back, and she's like, you know what?
Sabrina goes, you work here?
She's like, oh my God, are you okay? She's like so horrified.
You're a bartender. She's like, I would literally never be a bartender.
Yeah, meanwhile, I just feel like a barista is a much classier gig. I don't know. So Emily starts to leave. She comes back. She's like, look, the convo at the brew was real. It wasn't an act. It's like no one thought it was an act. And she tries to justify the Ezra thing. She's like, look, I like you, and I think you like me too. I just do. And then her date comes up and kisses her on the lips and asks Emily. She knew exactly who Emily was. She says, can I have a glass of Chardonnay? And Sabrina's like, okay, so I guess that was obvious. I could have used context clues to not say, are you trying to drug me and stalk me? Liar.
Mm-hmm. Liar.
Sabrina only calls her liar now. She's like, what do you want, liar?
When they start dating, that's from now
the pet
on.
Name.
That's how they. Yeah. Yes. And so
wait, they're gonna start dating for sure.
We'll see.
Way to spoil it.
We go back to Amish country just for a second, just to get a glimpse of this child of the corn who like scampers in the woods like a little mouse.
No offense to anyone who's Amish listening, but really you shouldn't be listening. Really, you are gonna get in big trouble.
We're gonna get in
big trouble. We're not gonna tell on you, but you should really watch out.
You should go home and think about what you've done.
You're gonna be in big trouble. Okay,
I'm not gonna
shame them. Oh my God, I'm not shaming them.
No, I understand the lure. I understand the allure of our podcast and wanting to like give up your lifestyle to listen. But
yeah, of course. But
it's not worth it, guys.
On the right of my screen, the little thumbnail of you, when I look at it, it looks like you're wearing that fedora you had when you were a kid.
It does.
You know what I mean? Okay, thank God. Yes, it's so funny.
Mom
like
yesterday when she's in Italy sends me a picture and a video of her walking across a crosswalk, and I'm like, what is this video of? It's a fedora stand.
I hope she bought one.
Culture. Okay, so Mom's coming home with a fedora from Italy. For me.
She's like, everyone wears them in Italy. She's
it's
like,
Fedora Girl Summer, guys. We had Brat Summer last year, and we have Fedora Girl Summer this year.
And you can choose to just you can choose to abstain if you do want to, which I do.
Oh,
so Emily is now calling Spencer, and Spencer is researching Aria's pictures.
Pause.
And she's found out what?
Emily gets on the phone and she goes, ugh. And I completely made a fool of myself in front of Sabrina and her model girlfriend.
Yeah.
You're Shay Mitchell.
Her model Shay girlfriend Mitchell. Was so funny. And her model
and Spencer's
girlfriend.
like, okay, Emily, I'm like kind of annoyed with you. Her loss. Like, I don't know what you want to say. You're kind of annoying right now. So like, I don't really blame her.
Spencer's annoyed with everyone right now. She's just like so wrapped up in her relationship. She's just so bothered. So she finds out that like there was a piece of paper and written on it was a recipe for latex. And then he also has blue contacts in his trunk and he has brown eyes. And they're like, who else? I'm shocked they put this together.
I love this. Me too. Spencer goes, have you like clocked what color eyes Rollins has? And she goes, yeah, brown. I mean, let me think.
Brown?
Well, Allie likes brown eyes, so like kind of like a shade like mine.
Don't ask me how I know. Don't ask me how I know. So they are like, well, who else has blue eyes? Detective Wilden. Spencer Googles him, confirms. I know. I'm like, that is a crazy thing to figure out. I mean, good for you guys, but
I guess knowing that Allie was hallucinating, but like there's still a likelihood, especially looking at these drugs, that she is hallucinating a little bit.
Exactly.
So, like I wouldn't have gone there, but there's a lot of things these girls do that I wouldn't have done.
Yes. And they're like, well, I bet he made a mask of Wilden as well, and he wanted Allison to think that she was crazy because then she would need to go to Welby, obviously. So
I know Peter and Vivi are on their victory cruise, but like if they get home and see that Spencer used all of their like quality printer paper, like she picks up that paper and it sounds like she's holding cardboard.
Yeah.
And also it's glossy ink. I'm like, oh my, you better replace it.
You
bet. If we did that in our house and Dad came home and we had printed like sheets full of full resolution pictures on his printer, he'd be like, okay, I'm putting a padlock on the printer and the Wi-Fi.
Like, we need to talk. Yeah, he'd be really mad.
Go to Amish country again, and Aria's like, let's go look at the furniture. And Hannah's like, why? And Aria goes, because maybe if we look, like, we'll buy something.
The Amish craftsmen are really talented, and the wood is supposed to be really high quality. And you know, my house, like all the mahogany, the Montgomery mahogany.
She's like, I know you like to shop on like, I don't know, Wayfair, but like I like am not really quality. Into this fast consumerist like
we
life.
invest in like quality pieces for our home.
Yeah, exactly. And me and Z are okay. I didn't want to bring it up. We are looking to close on a house coming up.
Wow. Yeah, we're just making moves for our future. And Hannah's like, same. So anyway, they're looking at the furniture and Hanna sees that little girl again and follows her. And Aria then comes in and immediately makes it worse because Hannah's like really good with the little girl. Like she's like, hey, and little girl's like, you're really pretty. And Hanna goes, you are too. And then Aria comes in. She's like, what's this?
Aria comes in, arms crossed. She's also like at eye level with the kid because they're the same height. And she goes, hi.
She like gives the kid
Hanna,
like,
what's this?
Yeah, she's so bothered. And then the little girl, Aria has figured out that Elliot's family does not have a farm. There's no one named Rollins here. And then the little girl is like, you guys look like my dolls. The one Charlotte gave me. Oh,
I'm just like,
the one Charlotte gave you.
Like, home run after home run that you shouldn't be getting.
Good for you. Go play the lottery. So she pulls out the dolls and Hannah's like, can we play with you? And we find out all the dolls are named after the girls. And obviously Allison's her favorite. And Hannah's like, yeah, of course she's your fucking favorite.
And she's like, why? And she's like, why is she your favorite? She looks like Charlotte. And Hannah's like, well, you know what? They used to confuse me and Allie a lot.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story. We thought Allie was dead for a long time, and I got skinny, and then we got popular. And then when she came back, it was like, oh, like, who's who?
Yeah.
And
like,
Allie really didn't like that. Allie's not all that. Allie's not all that.
So we find out that Elliot and Charlotte used to come out here all the time. And the little girl says, I saw them kissing once, but I'm not supposed to tell. And then she says, I miss Charlotte. Do you know when she's coming back? And then this guy comes in and the girl's like, you cannot tell anybody. I'm not supposed to have dolls with faces, please. And she hides them. And then this guy makes them leave. Yeah.
And also I hate when people talk like that. I'm like, okay, this is a place of business and you come in there and you go, I think it's time for you to go now. Get out of here.
Yeah, but I guess maybe they were in like a private.
Man.
Also, I'm like, they're talking to a kid. It's like, okay.
All right, I guess.
Don't be in this room with the kid.
Fair enough. We go to the Radley and Sabrina walks up to the bar and I'm like, okay, what Was your girlfriend at the table, your alleged girlfriend at this moment in time, was she like, did you just botch that with the bartender? Like, have you seen her?
Hey, my question is, why did they kiss?
That I had questions about, and I do think Sabrina, or I think Emily might ask that later, but I thought she asked it when they have this conversation.
Because Sabrina's like, so that girl, she's an ex. We're just friends. I'm like, that's where I asked.
You kissed on the mouth.
You guys kissed on the literal mouth. And so Emily hands her the drink, and like Sabrina's like, I feel really bad for judging you too quickly. Let's start over. Let's get dinner this week. Emily hands her the drink, and their hands touch, and then we find out I didn't even want another drink. I just wanted an excuse to talk to you. Why did I think Sabrina was like sober?
That's actually a good question. I feel
wasn't that like part of her storyline?
Well, I feel like she found out Spencer was supposed to be sober when she was asking for the marijuana way back when, maybe.
Yeah,
and she like made a comment about it.
No.
I
she
don't
had
know
cancer, right? She was like sick. Sorry.
Well, yeah, she did. Oh, yes.
That's
but
why she had the medical
something like
stuff.
that.
Okay, sorry.
But I'm just like, what was the change in the tune here? I just wanted an excuse to talk to you. You couldn't get her away from your table fast enough earlier.
She's been talking to you. You've actually had like more conversations than I think you wanted to with her in the past couple days.
This was gonna be like a rekindling date. Sabrina hoped. Sabrina was like, maybe like I'll go on this date and like me and this girl will get back together, and then it didn't work out.
So while she's in the bathroom, she's like, no, she has the girl go up and book a room. The girl's booked a room. She's like, you go up and head up to the room. I'll be up there shortly. Like she tells Emily.
I'm just gonna play my chances.
Yeah.
Back to the Amish country. Someone says,
Aria,
don't remember who, if he was in love with Charlotte, that explains Mary Drake. Does Aria say that?
Yeah, I don't know, but not the Allison thing. So that's
right.
That's where they're still confused. And then Hanna sees something that actually like sends her into a full PTSD, visceral reaction. She sees a cattle prod, and like Aria's like, what is going on? And Hanna keeps having these flashbacks, and we realize that is what Rollins was electrocuting her with. So he would like soak her and then fucking electrocute her with the cattle prod.
And Aria, this is a good moment for Aria's a pretty good friend here. And she says, Elliot will pay for what he did to you, I promise. So we go to the barn, or we go to the Hastings Castle, and Caleb comes in, and Spencer is not having it with him.
No.
She's like, just fucking break up with me.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. She's like, at least if you break up with me, then I'm the victim. Okay. If I break up with you, then it's like, oh my God.
And then it's like, Hanna, I
can't. Yeah.
And then me and Hanna can both hate you.
And if you break up with me, then Hanna really shouldn't date you because that would be shitty. So, but if I break up with you, then Hanna kind of can. So Caleb wants to talk, and he's like, look, there's a part of me that's always going to love Hanna. She was my first love, but it is you who I want to be with. And she's like, okay, well, if Hanna wanted to be with you today, and he's like, if she wanted to be with me now, it would not change anything about you. Like, I like everything about you. You're smart, you're driven, you're sexy as hell. And Spencer goes, but the problem is that you like me and I love you. And he does not correct her. Oh, it's tough.
Spencer, get out of there. Spencer, it's okay.
Out of there, Spencer.
Anything that happens from you ending it can be fixed.
And like Caleb really is trying, like, it's not that he's like a bad dude and that's why she should get away from him, but it's just like, girl, you need better for yourself. And so he begs her for a chance to make it right. Like, he really wants this to work. And she says she doesn't know if she can.
Mm-hmm. We go to Toby's Airstream. It's the engagement party. Emily.
Okay, that's the first thought, but the second thought is Toby and Yvonne. Is this really the engagement party?
I don't buy it for Yvonne.
I don't buy it for Yvonne for 1 second. We're have a picnic table on dirt. Out, it's not air conditioned. We are just outside. Like, it's like a cute idea to have an outdoor thing, but then it's like we've left the Airstream and we're in a literal construction zone. Mm-hmm. I get that it's like private and special and whatever, but it's just like it's not tracking for me.
I'm hoping this isn't like the actual engagement party and maybe it's just like a dinner for just like the family. Which I think they should have indoors, but
wait till the house is done. And then have
I don't know. Go to the Apple Rose Grill. Go to the Radley. Emily's working. That would have been perfect.
Emily will hook you up. And then Emily won't have to crash your party.
And then Emily won't have to be fucking weird.
She's gonna do. She shows up in her army jacket and she's like, hey. And they're like, what the fuck? Yvonne, like, good for Yvonne. Because let me tell you, if I were Yvonne, my head would have popped off my body by this point. I'd be like, okay, I can't do this anymore. We have to move.
Emily walks up to the table, holds the file up like, and the entire table jumps up 10 feet in the air because they think that she's about to put a curse on them. Because it is truly the most dilapidated looking file. You were right when you said that in the sunlight it would crumble.
I know, like I'm literally crumble. Like it's exposed to like 2025. I mean, I know it's a 2025, but it's exposed to like fresh air and it literally like explodes. Like it's crazy. So Toby comes to talk to Emily and she's like, Allie is in trouble. She tells him about Elliot and Toby's like, look, Emily, like Allie killed Charlotte. So I don't really, and Emily's like, so what? That's not the point. Like Emily's like, okay, are you a friend or not? Because I have the skin of a killer. Did you know that? I have the skin of a killer and you're still my friend. Or are you not anymore now that you know?
The way that this line, he's like, he says, he goes, Allie killed Charlotte. And Emily goes, probably.
Emily goes, and?
She says it.
I need to make a reel of our and banter because it was really funny last week.
I just love how Emily is like excited about the She's like,
no, probably. And I figured it out. Good for me. Like Emily's just like,
that really got me in Spencer's good graces for about
okay, Toby, now you're talking. Now you're thinking. Let's get to work. She's just like, so you see the motive. You see Elliot's motive. Okay, great. Let's go. Like she's like, perfect. She doesn't realize it's a crime. She's like, this is just a motive for somebody else to do something bad to Allie.
And
so
also,
she gives him the rally file.
Toby also isn't entirely aware of how Allie's being treated in Welby. Like the last he heard, it's Aria calling at Fort Knox. So he's like, well, if she killed Charlotte, like she's not in prison, like it's fine that she's locked up. Like that's okay.
In theory,
that does make sense.
In theory, if you're somebody who needs that kind of support, you're in the right place, you know? Like, and we know that it's not Radley. We know what Radley was. This is a different place. And, you know, we saw Charlotte get so much better. So, like, on paper, if you're
Toby
someone who's a little bit removed from this, it does seem like, I mean...
Right.
Which is always the problem with these girls. And, like, that's A's magic trick is, like, it only looks crazy to the girls.
To them.
You have to put yourself in a crazy, like, out of touch mindset to try and comprehend what's actually happening, you know?
And so he agrees to do it. And he's like, but I got to get back to my party. And Emily goes, hey, Tobes, we didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah. He's like, we don't have time for parties anymore. Sorry. I just got a new job and I think I'm quitting. Party's over.
Everybody, party's over.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Yvonne's like, so this is my home. And she's like, well, it's actually headquarters now. This is actually, we're going to rebrand it for a little bit as headquarters.
I got to get the girl. So
got to get the girl. You know how it goes. You already got the girl, Tobes. Come on. Help me out. We're in this together, right? You know, Tobes and I had a pact. If we were both single, Toby, don't play stupid. We had a pact that if we were both single by 30, it would be us. I know it sounds crazy. And some people were like really like against it when we first started. Yvonne, do you know about like how weird Toby was at first? Okay, so at first when I was like, Toby, I'm bringing you onto the social scene, everybody was like, Emily, what are you doing? And I was like, guys, you'll see. And look, I was right. Yvonne's like, Toby, can we talk? Anyway,
we go to the DeLaurentis dungeon and Rollins comes in and he goes to look for the key for the trunk and he can't find it and he kind of starts to freak out and then he realizes,
you know why I can't find it? Aria, you stupid bitch. Here's the deal. I think Aria should have just taken the key. That would have been perfect. Because he could have been like, did I fucking lose it? Did I forget something? Like, whatever. And then he wouldn't be able to open the trunk and get all the terrible shit. You know what I mean? And then Aria could take the key to the police and say, I'll show you exactly what this key goes to. You know what I mean? So that he can't do what he fucking does. But I'm just like, instead you botched it and you didn't, like...
I agree. But I am a little bit like... And again, this is me not having the brain of someone like Elliot Rollins. But like, if I realize it's just in the other sconce, I'm like, oh, I put it in the wrong one. Last time I was in the trunk.
Maybe.
I wouldn't have freaked out like he did. We go to the barn and Emily and Spencer are discussing what the drugs are.
So
he takes all his stuff out.
Yeah, he takes all the shit out of the trunk and he puts it all into like a toolbox. Yeah.
So we go to the barn and Emily and Spencer are discussing what these drugs are if they're not for Allie, because the guy earlier was like, she's only on one drug as far as her chart says.
Yeah.
And then Emily's like, well, this one's almost empty. And we realize it's a stimulant to stay away. Like, Emily has Spencer describe it, and then Emily goes, "Oh, so it's like speed."
Yeah,
and starts like,
so
it's like literally, so it's gonna like keep you up for hours, right? So that sounds awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah.
And Spencer's like, "Yeah,
Shut up. Em. Don't make me want. My mouth is watering, Em. So she's like, okay, it can cause hallucinations, delusions, and thought disorder. Elliot is giving her drugs to make sure she's crazy.
Yes. And yeah, I like this. They say she might not have been crazy when she went in, but he's making her crazy now.
And so we see go to Allie wake up, and Elliot is at her bedside, and he says, change of plans. And Emily back at the house.
Actually,
Rollins is change of plans, bitch. So Emily's like, police. She's like screaming for the freaking police. And Spencer goes to get the file out of her bag. It's gone. And Emily's like, okay, I took it. Oh my God. Okay, I took it. I gave it to Toby. Spencer's like, I told you not to do that. And Emily's like, well, Allie's life trumps what you want, Spencer. It trumps what we all want. It always has. Why are you acting like you don't know that?
Emily is killing me this episode.
Oh my God.
And then they're like, wait. Emily's like, Toby reminded me that we got into this mess because Allie did murder someone. So we actually, I know I was just really gung-ho about the police, but now I'm reconsidering because I like don't know about conjugal visits. Like I just don't really need her to, like in prison. So
exactly,
we're gonna have to reconsider that. I don't want her implicated in the.
I don't want her. Yeah. So let's get back to the drawing board there. So Hannah's like, I do not want to go back to the cops. Oh wait, we just said that. You just said that. We have to say either after Allison, blah blah. Then Elliot sends Emily a pin drop of his location. And he's at Welby.
So
but
funny.
Then we see that it's moving. And Spencer's like, no. It's a trap. It's a trap. And then we get the text SOS. And that's not Elliot.
No. But Aria does go when Emily gets the pin. Aria goes, why do you have Elliot's number?
And Emily's like, oh my God. Okay. Every time I am a little bit closer to Allie than somebody else, they have questions. Every time.
Aria, looking at you
You're jealous. Admit it. Admit it, you're jealous of how close I am with Al. Anyway, so we're like, did Allison send this? Yes, she wants us to know he's taking her somewhere. And then we see they're in a car. Allie is fake sleeping in the front seat.
Not very well, by the way.
No, but like, good
she
enough.
Like fully wakes up. I mean, good enough for Elliot, but I am laughing because she like fully like opens her eyes, is looking out the window. Like, it's like.
One thing I'll say though is like, good for her waking up and not like panicking. Most people when they like open their like she like opens her eyes and she's like doesn't move her body at all. She only moves her eyeballs. So it's like
that's true.
Unless he were to like physically turn his entire body and look at her, he wouldn't notice.
So we go back to Toby's Airstream and Yvonne opens the door to the Airstream in full lingerie.
Full fucking lingerie. And Toby's like, sheesh.
But I gotta work.
Yeah, he's still checking the police database, and she's like, I guess I gotta get used to being a police officer's wife. Yeah, I guess so. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he's like searching the database, and he finds that there's like a speeding ticket or something for Elliot.
Moving violation.
Yeah, it's a speeding ticket.
That's what they call it? Where did you move?
It says underneath speeding. I think it means like when you're in motion, maybe.
When you're in motion.
Yeah, because it says speed ticket after it. But the point is, it's sort of like a routine thing. That's not what's weird about it. What's weird is that it's from the year 1958. And obviously, that's a little older than we know Elliot to be.
And Caroline, I didn't want to keep this from you any longer. It's a vampire twist.
If it's a vampire twist, you will never hear from me again. If it's a vampire twist, game's over. Party's over. Okay? I can't have any more vampire twists. Imagine a season 7 vampire twist for Pretty Little Liars. I would. And then the show ends immediately.
They're literally just like throwing everything at the. They're like,
they're like,
vampires?
Look, I think there were rumblings about ghosts. We had the whole Ravenswood thing. Maya kind of ghost like in, and so I feel like we already kind of crossed over to supernatural. Let's just throw vampires in. Okay, let's just throw vampires in. If we make it to season 8, werewolves. All right.
So we go to the car, and the girls are following the pin of Rollins and Allie, and then Emily loses signal. And then Big Al's
Aria.
back.
Well, good for Aria. Aria suggests a shortcut because Spencer's like, he's headed to the lake. So Aria's like, well, if you turn here, there's a shortcut. Thank God they take that shortcut. Otherwise, what happened next, I do not think would happen. So Emily loses signal, blah, blah, blah. one of Elliot's tires bursts and Allie slams him against the car and like gets out of the car, starts fucking running. And I'm just like, this does look so bad. Like having somebody in a full hospital gown running away. Like if the wrong person were to find, I am like, what are the guys going to do now? The guys, what is the gang going to do? Like with the situation that we see them left in.
Because, and what kills me is road warrior Hanna. Hannah's driving. And Elliot is chasing Allie through the woods, and then they kind of it's kind of a funny look. We see the girls kind of come into this like clearing or approach this clearing, and you see Allie in her hospital gown just run straight past
it looks like a horror movie like scene.
And then Elliot freezes in front of the car and like kind of panics, and then Hanna she kind of moves her body like she's like gonna slam on the brakes. But that bitch floors it.
She floors it. And good for her. And the way that he ends up hitting the car, so he like his full body hits the car face down and his face goes through the windshield glass and it's like inches away from Hanna. And there's just that moment of like Hanna is experiencing pure terror because she's like face to face with this monster who did all this shit to her. But also it's like relief. Also it's like, what have I done? Also it's like, what? I mean, there's just so much. It's honestly, Ashley Benson's acting this season has been
so good. Especially the scene when she sees the cattle prod.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So good. So that's the episode. And I just am like, how do the girls get out of this? Because we've got Allie in the outfit and then we've got the dead body and like the car is not gonna, we can't just kind of fake it with this car. We can't pretend that it hit a deer or something. I don't know.
Okay. Season 7, episode 4, hit and run. Exclamation point.
Whoa.
Relationships with bed buddies become strained after the liars desperately attempt to cover up the biggest mistake of their life.
Holy shit.
That's saying something for
What if we
girls.
find out Elliot's completely innocent? I know he's not. I know that he's not, and I know that we know that. But imagine we find out he's just a doctor. This is the biggest
just really
mistake
bad
of their lives. Yeah.
He realizes he's in over his head with how he's been treating Allie. So he just like he panics and takes her out. He's like,
I didn't know what to do. I'm just taking her so that we can run away together and just be happy. Like, I mean, believe me, guys, we know that's not what's happening, but still, it's crazy. Crazy. All right, guys. Well, I hope you are enjoying season 7. We sure are. Things are heating up. Excited to see what happens next week. Please leave us a 5-star review. It would mean the world to us. We love you so much. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week. And by the way, on SNL last night, Janine Pirro was mentioned like more than 3 times.
I know.
Which is
and
so
Cecily
funny.
Came back to play her.
Yes, it was great. Did you see the cold open?
Yes. And honestly, like if we have to have one consolation for her getting this position,
Cecily back on SNL is something I like to see. All right, guys, go watch it. Love ya. Bye.